Hello, I've been asked to do a quick video tutorial explaining how I do AO mapping so I can help other people make their TF2 items look a little bit more TF2-ish rather than just flat colors and a little bit of noise like most people do. Well, what I've got is I've got a model right here that I finished up. I've done it for a friend's map and he likes it, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the skin on it. I've already done everything. I'm just going to go back through it and show you how I do it. What you have to remember first is that your model cannot have any parts UVW mapped over themselves, or else the shading's going to go all kinds of crazy on you. It always does this. Something you can't help. The easiest way to do it is if you have to mirror anything, you make a copy of your model like I've done. This is two separate parts, so I'm going to hide this and then unhide by name. I've got a group here that's the model without the mirrored parts. The fins and the ad are mirrored, so I went ahead and grouped them, made a second version where there's only one ad, and the fins, if you look how it's black here, doesn't have the model there. Now I've colored it because there's two different ways you can do it. One is you can render it out black and white and then use the black and white as a normal map, which I tend to do. It makes it look nice, gives a little grain to it, so I can deal with it. This right here I've actually got colored because these are the colors I want to do it, which is like a beige and a silver. The silver is going to be actually reflective in game. So what I want to do first, since I've got my model, I've got it set up. You can do this using materials, the colors. I've got it this and silver down here and black for the windows. I'll make those reflective in game. Now what you want to do first is come down here to lighting. You want to add a standard skylight. Doesn't matter where you put it, I'll just click there. Let's zoom out just to make sure I didn't add two, because I tend to do that. Okay, you've got one. You don't even really need it showing. You can just hide the selection. Now I'll zoom the screen back up for you. Okay, right here you want to press F10, go to advanced lighting and set it to light tracer. Light tracer is what makes your pretty little shadows, which I'll do a quick render right real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. That's the white one rendered out with the shadows. This is the color version rendered out with the shadows as well. If you look like right here in the fins, you can see shadows. Down here on the carriage, you can see them. Looks pretty good. You get really light shadows under each of the railings because I actually modeled those out. Okay, I've got that done. Now I want to render this to a texture. I'll select the model that I want to render and I will press 0 on my keyboard. It's going to pop up the render to texture screen. This, you want to set a good padding number here. I usually go between 5 and 8 because it gives it a good number. You want to make sure you're set to use existing channel if you've already got your model unwrapped, or else it'll unwrap it for you and it's usually very, very ugly. Channel, if you've got your model, hold on, let me add an unwrap so I can show you what I'm talking about here. You look right here in the map channel. If you have it set to anything other than 1, you'll want to make sure this one matches it. Let me delete this so I can show you how to do it while you add it. What you got here is you'll go add, you'll click complete map, and then add elements. Right here you'll click and you'll save it wherever you're saving your textures at. I'm going to save this one as blimp base so I don't overwrite one of my existing ones. This right here you can pick your settings if you need to. I usually keep them default. Here is where you pick the actual size of your model or your skin. My skin is going to be 1024 by 512 just because I like them big to start with. I can shrink it later if I need to. And what you're going to do here is you're going to click render. This is it saying it already exists. Now you'll click an error message or whatever. This right here is the white render because I had rendered it out the white version before because I'd started this tutorial and forgot to hit the freaking record button. But this takes a few minutes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it and I'll resume it as soon as it's done rendering. Okay, that was probably a few seconds for you guys, but probably about 10 minutes for me because I've been doing a couple things on and off trying to make it work right because it was not wanting to. Now, when you render it, you're probably going to get a square no matter what size you do it. Don't worry about that because when you render, it keeps it in the same window. Yet when you open in your program, I use Paint Shop Pro because I like the program. Oh, sue me. You'll notice it's 1024 by 512. You'll notice it's a little bit brushed over on all the edges. That's what the padding was for, to make sure you've got room for outside of your UVW map so it doesn't end up with like some black edges or anything like that where your UVWs are. You'll notice it's got the same colors I had in it, the gray beams with the beige interior. Looks exactly the way I want it to. That's pretty much all you've really got to do, because if you come back into Max and you put on the texture that you just did, I'll hide that, and unhide by name. That would be the blimp and the add. You notice they're all white. If I add my texture to it that I just rendered out, go to Maps, Diffuse Color, Bitmap, and go to my directory, Blimp Base, the one I just rendered out. I drag and drop it on there, show texture, and there you can see it. That's what she looks like with the texture on. You notice the tail fins look right because I deleted the parts that didn't need to be there. The add looks right, though I haven't done the add. It's pretty much the same thing for it. Now, if Source SDK is open, I can go to the model viewer. I can show you what it looks like in the model viewer. You should know how to convert VTFs and all that. And if you use VTF edit and you actually do out a black and white one, you can use that as the normal map and it'll do exactly what you need it to. It'll come out with a nice shine on it. Let me drag this so it fits in here real quick. There we go. I'll go File, Recent, and we'll open the blimp. And that's what she looks like. You can see the metal's reflective. That's stuff I did in the VMT. Got the add working. It's set to show no matter what lighting. You can see normal mapping on the lights because I did them in my texture editor. I do put a little bit of work on it. Like if you look, there's fins have lighting on them. I touched up the bottom a little bit, gave it a more metal-y texture for the carriage. But yeah, that's pretty much all you've really got to do to get some AO. Catch you later.